Alright guys, hopefully you realized that was a joke. That was my dry humor. That was a sound clip of a Harley Davidson I put over it. I thought it was kind of funny. Maybe some people didn't get it. So I'm going to show that scene again, exactly what the car sounds like. So I'm going to open the video with that sound. I'm going to hit the key. Let's take a listen. And again, the open header is just because we're driving it. This isn't the way we roll. Not at all. Still going to be a bunch of changes. This is going to get changed. I don't like this at all. It's not good. But right now it's working. Motor runs. Okay, so that's exactly what the K20 is supposed to sound like. It's not supposed to sound like a Harley Davidson. I thought it was kind of funny. Again, sorry for that. Didn't mean to mislead you. So we're going to get back into episode 4. This is basically taking the car apart, getting ready for paint. You ready? The suspension is left together just so we can transport it to the paint shop. Everything's going to get painted individually, like the bumpers, the hood, that kind of thing is painted, so it's painted all the way around. Then when it goes back together, there's no paint lines. You don't see where it stop and start. It'll come back on these wheels. Then we'll put the car up on jack stands, take the tires off, send the wheels back to the paint shop. That way it matches exactly. We're going to paint the wheels, not powder coat. That way they match. We don't want to have that mismatched white. It's hard to see now because the car is dirty, but the wheels are a brighter white than the paint. I don't like that look. The spoiler's a multiple piece. That has to be repainted. And you saw in one of the other episodes, the front bumper, we took the one that had the fog lights because it was badly cut. The fog lights were in bad shape. We're not using those. So we bought a brand new Honda bumper. So that has to be prepped and painted. Engine bay over here is mostly prepped. We're going to do a little bit more prep work. Do a real nice wash, clean it. We've filled a bunch of holes. We're going to sand those and prime them, get them a little bit closer to finished. That way when the paint shop paints the outside of the car, hopefully then do the whole thing in one go. We'll do a little bit more masking. The more work we can do, the less they can do, and the less they're going to charge us for something that is easy. We can't paint, but we can certainly mask. Alright, so the project that seems like I'm getting more negative comments than anything else because people tell us that we should be doing it this way, or they think it should be... Anyway, never mind. So we're filming now. It's been tested. We've driven it a bunch. Ran it up down the street. Sounds great. That sounds even worse. Well, at least it gives time. Sounds fantastic. No, it doesn't sound good at all. It's horrible. Need a muffler on that thing. Everything's going to come out. Side moldings are going to come off. Mirrors are going to come off. Belt moldings. Headlights are already off. Tail lights will come off. I don't know if we're going to fill that or put the OEM plug in it or not. I'm not sure. It's too close to seal, so we might not weld it. So let's pull it apart. Speeds it up when you tip the cap off. I'm a little cautious now of draining things around cameras. Hopefully the engine stays on the floor and the car goes up. Yeah. So this right here is something that we made actually a couple of years ago, and it's for when you remove axles out of a car and you've still got to move it and transport it, whatnot. This basically keeps the whole hub together and bearing so that it doesn't separate. You basically put this piece on and torque it just like you would an axle. Well, this car is pulling apart right now, and it's going to be going to the paint shop soon. A couple of small things still have to come off. Door handle has to come off. Back bumper I'm working on right now, and the spoiler has to be separated, and then it can go to the body shop, and I'm sure it's going to be there for a few weeks while they do their magic, and then when we bring it back, that's when the fun starts, when all the new parts start going together. So we'll actually take this apart and send it out in pieces. Looks like it comes apart here pretty easy. This part's going to be refinished in black, and of course this is going to be refinished to match the car. This isn't too bad, but of course when it's all freshly painted, it'll look 1,000 times better. Alright, as a quick preview of some of the parts that will go back on. So it's pretty much prepped. Last thing we're going to do is take the door handles off. I don't want to take them off right now because then it's a pain to get in and out of it. There's only 2 bolts, hold those on. So we're going to leave those till the very last minute. Thing I want to do is wash the engine bay. We've taped a lot of parts off. A couple of little holes I might want to fix, but it's pretty much ready to go. We're not doing the tucked engine bay and the slick out every holes. I know it's a pretty popular style, and I'm not going to say anything negative about it because it looks cool, and I respect the amount of work that goes into doing that, but that's not our style, and that's not what I would like to do with this project. The customer gave us basically 3 pages of like bullet points what he wants. Everything else is fill in the blanks in LHT style. So you've seen some of our builds. We have a certain style. I would call it a clean factory looking style, but with function. I don't like to bury hoses and make wiring disappear. It does look good on the show scene, but if you ever have to work on it, ever have to diagnose that, it becomes a pain in the rear. So that is not our plan with this. It is going to be clean, it is going to be functional. A lot of people suggested the different engine mounts. Well, we chose those mounts for a reason, and 2 reasons. Main one is to get the engine forward. It is going to give us more room on the back side of the engine for turbo components. And it's not just for room, it's for heat. The more room you can give around those hot components, the more the heat will dissipate without damaging surrounding parts. Imagine you've got a exhaust manifold here, turbo manifold. The closer it is to the firewall, the more it's going to damage the paint. It's going to bake the brake lines. We've got with fuel lines, they're way far away, but it would also cook the fuel lines. So there's a lot of things that you got to take into account if it's a long-term driver. It's not just a drive it up the road and shut it off or drive to the car show. This customer plans to drive this. So there'll be a lot of extra little things that we do to offset the negatives of turbo. Heat, you know, heat and oil, that kind of thing. Also, the other plan is that mount kit puts the engine about another inch further forward, transfers the weight a little bit more over the front wheels. We're going to be making 325 horsepower on this thing, and we're not putting drag radials on it or anything crazy, but we do want the thing to hook up when he punches the gas. We want it to go. So transferring a little bit more weight over the front wheels is definitely one of those things to help. Again, the back end is apart. It's got to be washed. Just realized we should really take this off. We're not going to disturb the back windshield. This seal's in good shape. We're just going to clean it. They're going to use like a 3M tape to put under the seal. It actually lifts that seal and it goes under it, so you have a nice sharp paint line. So we're going to put the OEM plug in here and not weld it. This can be removed, pretty easy thing. So like I said, this car has got more of the negative comments, I would say, which I guess I shouldn't care. All I can tell you is give it a chance. We have pretty clean style. We don't ruin cars. We are very, very particular and OCD the way we do things. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to keep getting updates. I got something else I'm going to do an idea with, and it's not just a clickbait. It's something that I talked to a friend about, and it's something interesting, and I'm going to do it as kind of like an experiment, but it's another way to bring you to the channel to find a little bit of humor and entertainment. You know, we try and keep it light. Sometimes I tend to be a little bit too serious. That's why I try and make the little jokes here and there, because I tend to be very OCD and very focused and really stay on target. So sometimes I try and lighten it up. Stay tuned on this. Hit the subscribe button and press the like, and there's a bell over there, the bell. If you click that, it will give you an update when we post a video. There's George over there in an S2000. Stay tuned, watch the next episode. I hope you like it.